Guys, my new favorite pastime is learning with Blinkist. I was getting caught up in doom scrolling, but Blinkist has offered a great reprieve from the social media madness. Just like me, you can fuel your own personal growth this month and unlock a world of wisdom with book summaries. With the extensive collection of summaries, the Blinkist app allows you to understand the most important takeaways from over 6,500 nonfiction books and podcasts in just 15 minutes. You can check out titles like The Hero Code, written by Admiral William H. McCraven from Blinkist Motivation and Inspiration section, or check out their career category. 65% of listeners find Blinkist essential for their career. You can join over 31 million Blinkist users and create better learning habits. Right now is the perfect time to expand your mind and supercharge your knowledge with Blinkist Premium. Don't miss out on this Memorial Day promotion. Get 70% off Blinkist Annual Premium. Start your 7-day free trial by clicking the link in the description box or scanning the QR code. Oh my goodness, I just had the most interesting conversation about Brock Lesnar. You know what? I haven't made a Brock piece. I don't know if I've ever made a Brock piece. I've talked about Brock here and there. I don't know if I put his name in the title ever. And I well could be wrong, but I don't remember doing it. Like, I don't actually know if Brock Lesnar draws. There's some guys I have given up talking about. You, the audience, does not care. There are certain matches that have been scrapped because this YouTube channel, within my thumbnail, the two names drew so poorly and had such limited back and forth in the comments, the promoters have canceled the fight. And I'm just sharing with you, I'm going to do a Brock piece. I'm going to do a Brock piece. I want to put Brock in the, and I kind of do want to know. And I'm not going to be my typical dick of a self when it comes to Brock. Now, you're not going to have anywhere to go if you want to get a Brock Lesnar piece in the last couple of months and possibly ever. When he ends up Me Too'd out of the business, he runs into one colossally difficult situation, which is this had never happened to anyone. There was no evidence. There was no rebuttal. Brock never came out and said, man, what a bunch of garbage. But the person making the accusation also didn't say it. It was hearsay. Somebody else said that it was said. And by the way, not that it was done, right? If you know the situation, you know what I'm talking about. Not that it was done. No, that's never even been claimed. Just that it was said, and that it was allegedly said from a number that belongs to Brock, which, again, nobody's confirmed. I mean, if you wanted to come out and you wanted to defend Brock, you could do it, and you could do it aggressively. Now, most people are going to be scared. They're not going to step on a landmine, and they don't want to associate themselves with something sticky. Then it can stick to you. And that is true. And there's a lot of people that can't really navigate it. But you would in the right situation. You'd speak up because it's the right thing to do. And the problem that Lesnar has had is never in his career has he ever helped one single person in the media. So now when he needs it, he doesn't have a friend. And it would take a friend to come out and defend him. It would take somebody that actually cared about him on a human level, that would be willing to stick their own name to something that's very muddy, and knowing when you play in a mud with a pig, you both get dirty, but the pig likes it. Like, it's one of those things. It would take a brother. And when you need one, it can be a little bit tough how quick none of them were there. I mean, if I was to do one commentary on Brock, it wouldn't be about some hearsay that I read in the paper that actually never, ever got confirmed. It never got denied and confirmed, and nothing. Something that should have been defended. Something that if there was a courageous adult in the room, they would have stepped forward and said, now wait just a second. Right? There's an old expression. They came for my neighbors and I did nothing. They came for my family and I did nothing. When they came for me, I had nothing. And it's one of these spots. So the point that I'm making if there's any Brock fans or any Brock interest out there, I'm going to have them right now because it's going to be the only Brock topic that you've gotten in months, and it might be the last one that you ever get. I had a meaningful conversation about him. And by the way, I know Brock Lesnar, I don't find him to be a bad guy in the least. I know people that know Brock, like just by example, his alma mater, University of Minnesota. He's done a number of things. He does them quietly. He is very supportive. He feels attached to that. He's proud. He gives back. He helps. That's not a side of him that he's ever wanted credit for. It also didn't necessarily go with and or against the character that he began to play. He keeps those things very quiet and very private. But there's a number of compliments that could be given to Brock. Not to mention he appears to be an excellent father, which is probably the biggest compliment you could give anybody. And I preface it with that because I'm not going to be part of the never talk about Brock because you're worried about what's going to happen, or never talk about Brock because you don't want to defend him for two reasons. One, he never would have defended you. And two, you don't want to get that stuff. I'm not going to do it. I don't step on landmines. I'm good. I'm real good. So they can bring it on, but I'm not going to stop talking about Brock, who belongs in the Hall of Fame and will someday go in. And it did become very interesting. How did he get over like that? I mean, how did he get over? If you were to tell that story of Brock Lesnar, I was to ask you, you're a wrestling fan, you're a Mark, you know what's up. You followed from the beginning. You know about the UFC, you know about his collegiate career, about his pro wrestling career. How did it happen? And I have a feeling you're going to talk about what a big guy he was. I feel you're going to talk about what a great athlete he is. I feel you're going to talk about what a unique build he had and how athletic he was for a big guy, and bringing the stats and the credibility of the amateur career. Man, am I close? Is that what you're going to talk about? Because what else are you going to talk about? You going to tell me about his interviews? You going to tell me about the heat or the angle he had with somebody? But it wouldn't appear that you're right. And if we just used other big guys that had great amateur careers, better amateur careers for that matter, had some youth and had some size and had a unique look, like if we just talked about those guys, there's been plenty of other ones to come in and come out, not work. And generally when you have somebody that looks like an absolute yes in the pro wrestling business and it ends up a no, generally they have a problem with the boys. And a problem with the boys can be an expression, like not only with the locker room or you got a little bit of a diva in you, but a problem with the boys is also an expression for you don't want to do what the boys do. You don't want to get on the buses with the boys. You want to travel with them. You don't want to change with them. You want to eat in those restaurants. You don't want to check in those same hotels. You don't want to do those same flights. Brock didn't want to do any of that stuff, and he did openly. Brock didn't even want to talk to him. Not that he didn't like them, by the way. He was just an introvert. He don't want to answer his phone. Brock Lesnar told people, to the point that it's largely believed by you, that he didn't have a cell phone. He told people that he didn't want to talk to them. These are people he's known for 20 years. He does not want you calling. So he would just tell them, I don't have a phone. And again, if we're now armed, and I'm asking you why Brock worked, and you're now forced to admit that you can't say because he was big, because he had a great angle, because he did a great interview, because he was a killer collegiate career. You can't say those things because other guys had that same thing and failed. Oh, and by the way, had better attitudes, like just kind of like the hustle more, like the social aspect of it more. So why did Brock work? And I want to tell you who I talked with. I really do, but I didn't ask them, is it okay? I didn't say to them, hey man, these are your ideas. I'm taking your ideas. I told this person, and you guys would know him and you'd really respect him and enjoy him and understand big guys and been there and know the behind the scenes. And I even said to him when he was done, I said, man, I didn't know that piece of psychology until you shared it with me. And that's the part about the wrestling business. Much like I enjoy politics, I enjoy those debates, right? I really enjoy the psychology of how somebody gets over on somebody else in a perceived fight where they're not actually trying to physically hurt each other, but they are trying to damage each other, just not physically. It's interesting to me. And what he said was, it was very, very polite, but he's very matter of fact, very intelligent on the business. And he said, It wasn't the amateur career as much. Even though Brock came in and he got a huge push and went right to the World Championship and WrestleMania, got all this stuff done. I want to say he got it done by the time he was 26. If I'm wrong, he got it done by the time he was 24. I think he was 26. He said, moreover, what the standing power was the shoot career. It was the UFC and the UFC Championship. And even if Brock wasn't going to be the most talented in terms of if he was going to put out a technique DVD and he achieved more than Gordon Ryan, you'd still buy Gordon Ryan's DVD. He's still the one that's going to have the technical prowess, and Brock had some other it factors that couldn't be matched: explosiveness, use, power, size. He said either way, it doesn't make a bit of difference. He was the world champion. So when he comes into the WWE, you can't have anybody beat him. How? It wouldn't be believable. And that sounds real obvious as I say it, doesn't it? Yeah, sure it does. You're going, oh, Chael, there's no brown gravy news. Okay. But I asked you 2 minutes ago to tell me why Brock got over. I asked you 2 minutes ago to tell me why Brock got over when other guys didn't, and you didn't bring that up. And Vince just looked at us and said, I can't go out there and smash him. I can't send one of my other guys over to the UFC and expect them to do well or become a top draw or become a contender or, goddammit, become the champion of the world. I got one guy. And I got some other guys that come in here and they throw their weight around. Some other guys that come in here and do stuff they're not supposed to do. And you need a hooker at times. You need a guy that can get in the ring with those guys that can get booked with them. The guys that you hear about in the back, they'll take liberties. They'll hurt somebody. They'll throw potatoes. They won't take it serious. They won't do the spots. They won't put someone over. You there with Brock Lesnar, you don't have a choice. You want to not put him over? Guys have tried before. He will put you down. And I know there's been plenty of tough guys in the business. You don't necessarily see that on that side of the camera. And the first thing you're going to think is Braun Strowman, and then you're going to say, well, who else did he do to Chael? Well, you're kind of missing the point. He didn't have to. That's why he was so powerful in that business. And that was kind of the entire point that this person was trying to make for me. Like, yeah, Brock was a real shooter. He's what they call a hooker. But he didn't have to do it because everybody knew that he could. He was a very important guy to have around. I just thought that was an interesting point. I think that when you look at that and you're setting out and you're trying to duplicate something, right? It's like anything else. You watch it, you try to identify, and then you go out and copy it. And Lesnar's a very hard one to copy. And by the way, he did not deserve what happened to him. Whether he built a single friend in the media or not, somebody should have spoke up for him.